Ayala.
I sit up in bed, taking in the morning light that filters through the curtains. It casts a golden glow over the room, softening the edges of furniture and painting a deceptive picture of serenity. I know it's a lie. It's as if even the light knows it doesn't belong here. Just like me. This is my last morning in this room, my final moments as the Ayala who had dreams beyond the boundaries of a cold, empty marriage. The guest room has been comfortable but temporary, a perfect analogy for my life up to this point. It's all changing today, whether I like it or not. I stand up, my bare feet touching the cold floor. Everything feels colder today, even the air that I breathe. I head to the bathroom, turning on the shower. I don't even wince as the water turns hot against my skin. I welcome the burn. Physical sensations are a distraction, a momentary respite from the thoughts that have been gnawing at me. As I look at myself in the mirror, I see my reflection almost as if for the first time. My makeup artist has done a wonderful job. I almost don't recognize myself. My eyes, usually so full of spirit, look drained. I'm dressed in an exquisite gown, ornate and refined, the quintessential bride, primed for a fairy tale wedding. But instead of feeling like a princess, I feel like a prop in someone else's narrative. Is this who you are now? I ask my reflection. A doll dressed up to fulfill someone else's fantasy? My voice breaks a little, and I quickly look away. I don't want to confront the girl in the mirror. I don't think she has the answers I'm looking for. Once I'm ready, it's almost mechanical the way I let myself be guided through the pre-ceremony rituals. My father doesn't say a word to me as he walks me to the claiming ceremony. I want to rage, to scream at him for allowing this to happen. But what's the point? He's as much a prisoner to the traditions and expectations as I am. The air inside the ceremony hall is thick with tension, a far cry from the joyful atmosphere that should permeate a wedding. My feet move mechanically as my father escorts me down the aisle, the weight of his silence as heavy as the elaborate, unwanted gown that drapes my body. Our eyes never meet. We've run out of words, out of excuses. As he passes my hand to Roman at the altar, not a word is exchanged. It's a transaction, devoid of love or pride. Roman takes my hand, his grip firm. Our eyes lock, and in his emotionless gaze, I catch a glimmer of Jay, that person who never really existed, but whom I'd grown to love. These little slivers of vulnerability are almost worse than his icy exterior. They remind me that at some point, I saw something in him worth loving. My heart wavers for a fraction of a second before I yank it back under control. No. I can't afford the luxury of hope. We're here to unite these souls, the priestess begins, her voice slow and grave. Roman goes first when it's time for the vows. I vow to honor the power and responsibility that comes with this union, to lead our pact to greater heights, and to safeguard its future, through you, my Luna. I vow to be the wall that guards you, the leader who directs you, and the mate that claims you. The word Luna grates against my nerves. His voice is steady, but it lacks warmth, just like the rest of him. But when our eyes meet, I notice a flicker. An uncertainty that's quickly veiled behind a facade of cold assurance. It almost fools me. Almost. I want to laugh and cry at the audacity of it all. My turn comes, and I look deep into Roman's eyes. With a deep breath, I speak, choosing my words carefully. I vow to stand by you, not behind you. I will be the Luna this pack needs, even if I am not the Luna you want. I vow to serve this pack with dignity and resilience, to stand as a Luna in name, and to fulfill my duties for the greater good of our community. He looks taken aback for a fraction of a second, but recovers quickly. The weight of my omission hangs heavy in the air. I vow to serve the pack, not him. But as the ceremony concludes, Roman seems to accept this, even if only begrudgingly. His face, however, betrays nothing. The reception is a strange blend of jubilation and constraint. Tables are covered in gleaming white cloth, supporting towering centerpieces of fragrant wildflowers. People chatter and toast, yet the conversations feel forced, as if everyone is acutely aware of the undercurrents flowing through the room. Caden approaches me with a smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. He's older, his eyes weary, as if they've seen too much. We exchange a brief hug, formalities dictating our interactions. May I have this dance, Luna? I nod, setting down my champagne glass. As we step onto the dance floor, the music shifts to a slow, melodic tune that seems oddly fitting for the complexity of the evening. Caden takes the lead, but his movements are deliberate, considerate. He's not trying to control the dance, he's inviting me to join him in it. The distinction isn't lost on me. Roman tells me you're a quick study, Caden begins, circling back to our earlier conversation. He says you've already started going through the Pack's historical texts. I'm trying to understand the world I've been thrown into, I reply cautiously. Knowledge is power, or so they say. Caden chuckles. That's very true. But tell me, what's the one thing that you're finding hardest to understand? I ponder for a moment before answering. How someone can be expected to lead without understanding the people they're supposed to be leading. How Roman can be so disconnected, so aloof. Caden's eyes cloud over for a moment, and I sense that I've touched a nerve. Ella, being an alpha is a burden that you can't understand unless you've lived it. And Roman has lived it almost his entire life. Empathy isn't a luxury he's been afforded. But what's the point of leading if you don't care about those you're responsible for? I ask, my voice tinged with exasperation. Caden sighs. It's not that he doesn't care. It's that he's been trained to care about the pack as a whole, not its individual members. To him, the pack's welfare is paramount. Individual relationships are secondary, if not irrelevant. That sounds lonely. I comment softly, almost forgetting that I'm speaking about the man I'm so conflicted about. It is, Caden admits, his eyes meeting mine. And that's why I think you're good for him, even if he doesn't realize it yet. You challenge him to look at things differently, to question the only reality he's ever known. The song comes to an end, and we slowly drift back toward the edge of the dance floor. For a moment, we just stand there, two souls caught in a web of complexity neither of us fully understands. Thank you for the dance, Luna. Caden finally says, his voice sincere. And thank you for giving my brother something he's never had before, even if he's too stubborn to appreciate it. I've caught myself a challenging mate, I whisper sarcastically as we pull away. Caden looks at me, his eyes filled with a strange mix of empathy and caution. He caught himself an equally challenging Luna, he replies. Why? Because I have a backbone? Caden chuckles. No, because you make him feel things he doesn't know how to process. Roman was marked as an alpha when he was 12, Ella. He never had a childhood, never had a chance to learn the social cues that come with growing up. His world was always about strength and leadership. Emotions were liabilities. I look at Roman from across the room. He's discussing something with the elders, but for a brief moment he turns, and our eyes meet. I see Jay, the vulnerability, the desire for something more than duty. And then it's gone, buried under layers of defense mechanisms. Do you really think he can change? I ask Caden, skepticism threading through my words. I don't know, he confesses. But I know you've already changed him more than anyone ever has. Don't underestimate the power you hold, Luna. But also don't overestimate his capacity for transformation, he adds, caution edging back into his voice. He might surprise you, but he might also disappoint you in ways you can't imagine. Be prepared for both. As Caden walks away, I feel a pair of eyes on me. Turning, I see Roman approaching, his stride filled with purpose. Beautiful ceremony, wasn't it, he says, a trace of irony lining his words. It was something, I respond, unable to mask the disdain. For a moment, I see Jay again, this time, he lingers a little longer. But then, just like a switch flipping, Roman is back. Get used to it, Ella. He murmurs. This is your life now. A pang of regret stings me, but it's quickly replaced by a newfound resolve. And this is yours, I reply, meeting his gaze head-on. And trust me, Roman, I'm not the kind of Luna you can ignore or shove aside. His eyes narrow, but in them, I see a flash of something that's not entirely unpleasant. Is it respect? Intrigue? I can't tell. All I can say is, you better be ready, I continue. Because I sure as hell am. The tension between us is a living, breathing entity. But for the first time since our paths collided in this twisted tale, I sense a shift in the dynamics. Roman may have pulled me into his world, thinking he'd won the game, but little does he know that the game has just taken a new turn. And I, for one, am eager to play. The feeling of resolution that Caden spoke of earlier begins to solidify within me. As I look at Roman, it's as if I'm staring at a puzzle, complicated and infuriating, yet intriguing in its complexity. And as we step into this perilous, uncertain chapter of our lives, I can't help but wonder, who will solve the puzzle first? Will it be Roman, the cold, unyielding alpha? Or will it be me, the unwilling Luna with a burning fire of defiance? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear, neither of us will be the same when the last piece falls into place.
Ella.
The moment we step into the car, a silent void envelopes us, a hallowed tension that swallows any words I might have considered saying. Roman sits beside me, his eyes forward, his posture rigid and his hands gripping the steering wheel tightly. He's lost in thought. So am I. The engine hums a monotonous tune, blending with the distant chirping of evening crickets. My mind races, churning thoughts that won't settle. Roman, my husband, the word still feels foreign on my tongue. Husband. The heaviness of the word settles on my chest, and I find it hard to breathe. The leather of the car seat sticks to the back of my gown, making me uncomfortably aware of the layers of fabric encasing me. I glance at Roman, wondering what he's thinking. Does he sense my apprehension, my trepidation about the night that lies ahead? Tonight's expectations wrap around me like invisible chains, chafing my very essence. The very word duties leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. And yet, duty is what binds me to this man beside me, isn't it? My eyes flit to the ring on my finger, a gleaming shackle that is both beautiful and ominous. I think about the vows we just exchanged, words that should mean something deep, but felt like they were recited from a script of social obligations and pack politics. Roman's hand rests on the gear shift, close but worlds away. The temptation to reach out and bridge the gap is there, but it seems too wide. So, I wrap my arms around myself, rubbing my own forearms as if I could generate some warmth, some reassurance, from the friction. As we pass unfamiliar landmarks, trees, signs, the old bridge leading to the Packlands, I think about the room that waits for us. Our room. The term feels alien, almost laughable. Our room implies a sharing, a mutual ownership that I can't fully comprehend. All the rooms in the mansion may as well have been locked vaults for all they've revealed to me. My eyes meet his for a fleeting second when he looks my way. The inscrutable eyes are a reminder of a world I can't grasp, a bewildering mix of customs, obligations, and implicit rules. Does he feel the weight of expectation as keenly as I do? Before I can delve further into that thought, the car turns into the driveway, gravel crunching under the tires as if announcing our arrival. Roman parks the car in its usual spot, but nothing about tonight is usual. Nothing at all. The engine cuts off, taking with it the car's ambient noise and plunging us into a heavier silence. For a moment, we just sit there, two souls on the precipice of a momentous night, bound by invisible threads of duty, expectation, and perhaps something more, something neither of us can articulate. Finally, Roman breaks the silence. "We're here," he says, stating the obvious, but shattering the quietude that had almost become unbearable. "Yes," I reply, not knowing what else to say. "We are here, in this moment, at this crossroads. Where we go from here is uncharted territory, a map we'll have to draw together or risk becoming irrevocably lost." We pull into the driveway, and for a moment, I marvel at the intimidating grandeur of the mansion, a stunning yet unwelcoming structure, much like my husband. We walk inside, his hand loosely linked with mine. It's a mere formality, a show for whoever might be watching. The tension in the air is palpable, suffocating me bit by bit. I'm nervous, and there's no point in denying it. Tonight will be our first night as a married couple. The expectations of what that entails weigh on me like a 100-pound stone. I can feel the weight of Roman's gaze on me as I step into the walk-in closet he shows me, my heels clicking on the tiled floor. The enormity of the space strikes me instantly. It's filled with neatly organized rows of clothes, a combination of his and empty hangers waiting for mine. A symbol of our union, or maybe just another room that fails to encapsulate the complexity of what I'm feeling. Yours is to the left, mine on the right. he says, gesturing broadly before stepping back, retreating to give me room but not enough to sever the invisible thread of tension between us. I nod, not trusting myself to speak, keenly aware that words have a way of failing when they're most needed. My thoughts are elsewhere, dreading the coming hours. He steps away to give me space. My fingers tremble slightly as I pull the pins from my hair, letting my curls tumble down freely. I can feel his eyes on me, a heavy, almost tactile sensation on my back. It's as though he's not just looking, but searching, diving into the depths of my being. And what he'll find there, I'm not quite sure. I look up into the mirror and catch his eye. It's intense, unreadable, making my skin crawl in both fear and a strange sense of anticipation. Turning slightly, I reach for the zipper on my dress, but my fingers clumsily fail to grasp it. I try again, contorting my arm awkwardly to reach, but it's futile. A light chuckle breaks the silence and I freeze, mortified. To my surprise, Roman walks up behind me. I stiffen as I feel him approach. His fingers delicately catch the zipper, pulling it down with ease. The sensation of his fingertips against the skin of my back sends a shiver up my spine. Our eyes lock in the mirror for a long, loaded moment. I'm searching for something, anything, that might tell me what's going on inside his head. But he offers nothing, no clue to unravel the enigma that he is. Without a word, he leaves the room. The sound of the shower fills the silence he leaves behind. I wait, almost holding my breath, until the water stops. Nervous energy courses through my veins, leaving me jittery and anxious. What should I expect? What does he expect? Alone for the moment, I'm left to ponder what comes next. The sound of the shower, usually something so mundane, now feels like a countdown, a metronome ticking away the seconds before I must face whatever expectations Roman has of me, of us. My heart beats erratically, like a caged bird flapping against the bars of its enclosure. The shower turns off, signaling that it's my turn next. I take a deep breath, trying to calm the butterflies in my stomach. Roman walks out of the bathroom, a towel slung low around his waist. And God, he looks like a statue carved by a master sculptor, someone who knew exactly how to highlight each muscle, each line, each curve. His blonde hair is darkened by moisture, tousled in a way that looks unintentional but perfect. His eyes are the color of fresh leaves, and they meet mine for just a second before he looks away. But it's the tattoos that catch my attention. Intricate designs weave across his arms and chest, each one telling a story I'm not yet privy to. And then there are the Bratva stars on his shoulders, the ones my father told me about what they signify. They're markers of high rank within the Russian mafia. Those stars should have been the dead giveaway of who Roman really is, someone not to be trifled with, someone who has lived a life far more complicated than I'd imagined. Not normal, flirtatious Jay. I blush, feeling like I've stumbled upon a secret I wasn't supposed to know. He catches my eye again, and I wonder if he sees the curiosity and confusion swirling in my gaze. I hurriedly look away and bolt into the bathroom, glad for the excuse to escape, if just for a few minutes. The warm water does its job, rinsing away the makeup and the hairspray, but it can't wash away the jumble of emotions tightening my chest. I quickly towel off, avoiding my own reflection in the mirror. I don't need to see myself to know how unsettled I am. Pulling on a simple nightgown, I take a deep breath before stepping back into the bedroom. Roman is already in bed, laying on his back with one arm behind his head. I can't read his body language, can't decipher what he's thinking or feeling. Is he as uneasy about this as I am? I'm bracing myself for something. But nothing happens. Roman leans over and for a moment, I think this is it, the moment I've been both dreading and expecting. But he simply says, "Good night, Ella." Then he turns away and falls asleep. Just like that. I lie there, stunned, staring up at the ceiling. My emotions are a jumbled mess, relief, confusion, frustration, and a tiny sliver of disappointment. For a moment, we're both silent, both lost in our thoughts. Then, in a voice softer than I'd intended, I say, "Good night, Roman."
Roman.
I wake up to a different reality than I expected, the subtle glow of morning light, the serenity of a quiet room, and, unexpectedly, the warmth of another body beside me. My mind is hazy with the last vestiges of sleep, and I'm in that brief, beautiful space where the weight of yesterday hasn't quite settled back onto my shoulders. It's only when I sense the arms slung over my chest and the legs entangled with mine that it hits me. Ella is holding me. My heart lurches in my chest, an adrenaline surge that jolts me fully awake. I lay frozen, scarcely daring to breathe, fearful of disturbing the fragile equilibrium we've found in the realm of sleep. She's close, so close I can feel the rhythmic pattern of her breathing, and I'm reminded, with a sudden pang, of the first time we shared a bed. That night, duty ripped me away before dawn, leaving me with only the haunting image of Ella's peaceful face and the memory of what could have been. I'd stepped out of that room as Alpha, shouldering responsibilities that were too big for the man hidden beneath the title. And when I came back, something had shifted irrevocably in Ella's eyes. She never looked at me the same way again. Now, she's here, her body curled against mine, holding me in a way she hasn't since that first night. The poetic irony of the situation isn't lost on me. This moment, a stolen pause in the relentless march of time, is a piece of the past my present self never thought he'd touch again. Yet here we are, and I'm too afraid to move, too afraid to breathe too deeply and rouse her from her sleep. Because the Roman who wakes up beside Ella today isn't the same Roman she knew then. The barriers between us, both spoken and unspoken, make this moment both a gift and a bitter reminder of all that's changed. How many decisions, how many actions and inactions have led me to this bed, to this woman, to this particular dawn? My mind floods with the faces of people I've led, problems I've solved, and conflicts I've engaged in, but they all pale before the quiet significance of Ella's simple touch. My Luna. My paradox. My lost opportunity and my lingering hope. I let my eyes wander across her face, memorizing the curve of her lips, the arch of her brow, the sweep of her eyelashes against her cheeks. I commit it all to memory, adding to the mental archive I've unintentionally built of her, of us. Her hair isn't dark anymore, it's the color of honeyed gold, and I swear she has never looked more beautiful. The smallest details are sometimes the most meaningful, and as a leader perpetually absorbed in strategies and existential threats, I cling to these small moments as if they are a lifeline. In the silence, questions rise like mist. What would happen if I woke her? Would she draw back, untangle her limbs, and put space between us, as she has done so often in recent days? Would she look at me with the quiet sadness that's become her default, a sadness I can't help but feel responsible for? Or would she simply smile, her eyes meeting mine in a brief flash of what used to be? It's a gamble I'm too scared to take. I look down at her hand resting on me, her fingers unconsciously laying right over my heart, as if she already knows it belongs to her. The simple act feels like an anchor, tying me to a reality I'm still struggling to fully comprehend. I find solace in her touch, yet it also serves as a harsh reminder of the confusing tangle of emotions she's come to represent in my life. Why is something so simple, so fundamentally right, also the source of my most complex internal battles? I dare to lift my hand, hesitating for only a second before gently stroking her hair. The silky strands feel like liquid gold running through my fingers, and I find myself entranced by the simple but intimate act. For a moment, I let myself bask in the joy of her closeness. But joy is a fleeting visitor these days. Finally, steeling myself, I carefully begin to untangle my body from hers, wincing as she stirs ever so slightly. As I slip out of bed, my eyes meet my reflection in the mirror across the room, a man caught in a perpetual struggle between who he has to be and who he wishes he could be. Roman, the Alpha, has a kingdom to run, dangers to confront, a reality to return to. But just Roman, the man who lay beside Ella for those few stolen minutes, knows that this morning offered him something infinitely precious and painfully elusive. A glimpse of what might have been. With her so near, the memories of yesterday's conflicts come rushing back with an unanticipated ferocity. The plans, the mission, Esteban refusing to talk, it all seems both crucially important and glaringly insignificant in comparison to the woman lying beside me. The Ella conundrum. My own personal paradox. She shifts slightly in her sleep, her lips parting in a soft sigh, and my attention snaps back to her. In sleep, she looks so much younger, free from the worries and scars that mark our complicated lives. How can someone so soft, so incredibly tender, harbor the strength of a Luna? I'm torn between two worlds. One where I'm Roman the Alpha, the leader who can't afford to bend, and another where I'm simply Roman, the man who wants nothing more than to hold Ella and forget about the weight of the crown he wears. I catch a glimpse of my reflection in the mirror on the opposite wall. I see a man wrestling with questions he never thought he'd have to ask, caught in a struggle between what he's always known and what he's beginning to feel. If I look closely enough, I can almost see the two sides of me battling it out in the depths of my own eyes, the alpha with his responsibilities, and the man who longs for the simple comfort of love. Which side will win? Which side should win? As I prepare to face another day of unyielding responsibilities, I take one final look at Ella. She's the question and the answer, the problem and the solution, my greatest strength and my most glaring weakness. Showering does little to cleanse me of my internal turmoil. Water trickles down my back like a monotonous lullaby that's lost its charm. Toweling off, I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror, stone-cold eyes staring back, framed by the tired face of a man holding onto the last threads of composure. I dress in a crisp suit, the charcoal fabric a subtle armor against the world. As if a suit could shield me from the turmoil that's distinctly my own making. I make my way to the door, my hand lingering on the knob for just a second too long as I steel myself for the day ahead. Then I step out, leaving behind the soft glow of the morning sun and the woman who's come to embody both my deepest confusions and my simplest joys. Today, I'll be Roman the Alpha. It's who I have to be. Duty always wins. But the man, just Roman, will be silently watching, questioning, and hoping for the day when the two can become one without the world falling apart. What do I do now? The question lingers, unanswered, as I step into the corridor, preparing to face yet another day of leadership and choices. Ignoring breakfast, I head straight to the office. Work, perhaps the only sanctuary left for me. The PAC's issues might be complex, but they are external, manageable. They don't carry the emotional weight that Ella does. I have files to review, PAC policies to approve, and alliances to forge. I sit down at my desk, clearing a space among the disorganized papers and briefing notes. The room has a heaviness about it, like it's holding its breath, waiting for the next act in this tragic play. I take a deep breath and dive into the pile of paperwork, welcoming the tediousness, the banality. Caden walks in mid-morning, a stack of reports in his hand. Council meeting at 11, and the Eastern PACs have agreed to our terms. I nod, shuffling the papers before me, already thinking ahead to the council meeting. Good. Make sure our points are clearly outlined. The last thing we need is any ambiguity in the accords. Understood, he replies. But as he turns to leave, his eyes lock onto mine, an unspoken question floating between us. A question about her. A question about me. We both know now is not the time. So, without another word, he leaves, letting the silence reclaim the room. Hours slip away, their passing marked only by the soft ticking of the antique clock on the wall and the lessening pile of documents on my desk. But it's not enough to keep my mind from wandering, from drifting to thoughts of her, of us. I'm staring at a logistical report, the words blurring into meaningless shapes, when a movement outside the window catches my eye. I look up just in time to see her walk past the window. Ella. She's wearing a simple dress that highlights her grace, her beauty. She's talking to Sarah, one of the PAC's medics, and even from this distance, I can see her lips move in a natural flow of conversation, her eyes looking into Sylvia's with genuine interest. For that fleeting second, I see a glimpse of her life without me. It's a life where she smiles more freely, talks more openly, loves more easily. It's a life I can give her, but also one I can take away. My heart clenches at the thought, but it's a necessary pain. It's a reminder of what's at stake, a reminder of the price of my decisions. She continues walking, eventually disappearing from my view, but the impression she leaves is indelible. I lean back in my chair, my eyes shifting away from the window to fall on the half-finished report before me. I try to refocus, to bury myself in work, but it's futile. I'm stuck at an impasse, at a crossroads where every path is fraught with sacrifice and loss. My phone buzzes again, a reminder that the world doesn't pause for personal dilemmas, even those of an alpha. It's a message from the security detail I've assigned to Ella. She's safe, as I intended her to be. But is she happy? I can keep her protected, sheltered from any physical threat, But what about the invisible wounds, the emotional scars? I've always prided myself on being a good leader, on putting the needs of the many above the desires of the few. But what do you do when one person becomes your many, when she becomes your every thought, your every waking moment? I shake my head, as if the physical act could dispel my thoughts. There's work to be done, duties to perform. I've been trained for this, bred for this. And yet, for the first time, the burden feels too heavy, too immense to carry alone. But carry it, I must. Because that's what alphas do, they bear the weight of their choices, no matter how soul-crushing they may be. With a newfound determination, or perhaps it's desperation, I turn back to my desk, to the endless pile of responsibilities. But even as I delve back into the world of pack politics and territorial disputes, a part of me remains anchored to that brief moment, to that fleeting glimpse of Ayla. And for the first time, I'm not just questioning my decisions, I'm questioning myself. Because the man who's built his life on certainty is now grappling with the most uncertain thing of all, love. And it terrifies me.